Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are on our fourth session of DSA grind. Hope you all are doing good. So without wasting any time, let's just start the session. The first question, which is merge intervals. Okay, let's move to that question. So you are given some integers intervals which are 1 to 3, 2 to 6, 8 to 10, 15 to 18. I have shown them on the number line and you need to merge them. So by merge means there would be overlapping and you need to remove that overlapping. Okay. So for 1 to 3 there is a one interval which is 1 to 3, one is 2 to 6, 2 to 6, right? 8 to 10, 8 to 10, 15 to 18, 15 to 18. So there is a overlapping between these two interval, right? We can see that 2 to 3, this is the most this is the common part, right? So the result would be 1 to 6. I just merged these two intervals and I created a 1 to 6 and then 8 to 10, 15 to 18. So yeah, and now let's see the logic behind it, how to do that question. So it becomes easy for us to get the overlapping part, right? Clearly we see that, but why, right? What if the input order is something like 1 to 3, 15 to 18, then once I would first point 1 to 3, then I would point 15, 18 and something like that. So that would be, it would make difficult. So what's the difference between these is key, the starting time are in the sorted order, right? I have a order 1 to 3, then I got 2 to 6, so I can compare it with the previous one, right? Key whether these twos are overlapping or not. If they are, so create a bigger interval from them, right? So sort the interval to get the period. So sorting is the answer, right? Big of n log n. So let's see the code. So this is the question and the coding part, merge intervals, constraints, and let's see. So first thing, we just sorted with the starting period, right? The start time, and created a vector of vector to return the to return our intervals, right? And first I just push back the interval 0. Okay, and why is that? Let me just show you. And then I'm iterating on all intervals, right? And then I'm taking the return size. If I of 0, that means the start time of this interval is less than equal to return n minus 1, means the last interval that I just push in the result is and the end time. So that means if the start of current interval is less than the end time of previous interval, so that means they both are overlapping, right? If something is starting before the last one ended, so that means they both are overlapping. So I need to create a bigger interval. So for that I need to change its end time. Why not start time? Because we already sorted them in according to their start time. Okay, so the first interval which I just pushed, the start time of that would be obviously less. So return n minus 1 and end, that would be the maximum of both the case. Else means they both are not overlapping, so that means I would just push that interval, and after that I will return the return that vector of vector, our interval set. So yeah, that's it. Let's move to our next question now. So next question, which is insert interval. Okay, we have given some intervals and we need to insert one interval in them. So just say 1 3 and this is 2 5, so there is overlapping between them. And what I need to do is I just showed that on a number line ki 1 say 3 and 2 say 5, there is overlapping between them. So what you do is you would make it a bigger interval, right? You are inserting something and then you would make a bigger interval. So one case is key, you just insert them into the intervals vector, and then what you do is you sort them according to their start times, and after that you just overlap, you just merge those intervals like that we just did in our last question. But the question requirement is that this part is already sorted. Okay, so sorting them again will cost us n log n, but we need to achieve this part in big of n, right? So how to do that? So for this case I'm just showing ki there is an interval 1 say 2, 3 say 5, 6 say 7, 8 say 10, 12 say 16, and I want to insert this 4 to 8 interval right in between them. So is 1 comma 2 is overlapping with 4 comma 8? No. So this is right. Is 3 5 is overlapping with 4 comma 8? Yes, it is. So I show that by hash. Is 6 7 overlapping by 4 8? Yes, hash. 8 10 is overlapping by 4 8? Yes, they both are equal end time, so that is hash. Is 12 comma 16 is overlapping by 4 8? No, this one is clearly greater. So yeah, that's it. So that's mean key there are some intervals that are not overlapping by 4 comma 8 in the starting period, in the start time, and in the last region, right? In the start region and in the end region, and I just need to overlap with this one, and I can easily do, I can take minimum of these and the maximum of these, and that would make our, that would insert our interval, right? So I need to create my code according to that logic. So let's move to the coding section. So this is the coding section now. As we have just discussed, there would be some intervals in the starting and there would be some intervals in the end that won't be overlapping with the new interval. So and vector of vector, and the case one, when there are some intervals which are not overlapping, so I created take a variable I, and while I is less than and intervals of that, and that means end of that would be less than the start of something. तो ठीक है, तो इनका end ही पहले है, तो that no way they would be overlapping. So I just insert those intervals in the result and keep incrementing. So when we break out this loop, then when will that happen? When there are some overlapping intervals. So for overlapping intervals, I need to take the minimum of those and the maximum something. And for the constraints, what I need to do is I need to check whether they are overlapping or not. So new interval of ones, that means the end time of our new interval is greater than equal to the start time of something. So that means the thing it is key, it is ending. So in other words, I can say key for the last part to occur in the last reason, what would be the case? The start time of those would be greater than the end time of new intervals, right? So end time of new intervals, the start time of those should be greater than the new of time interval. So I need to do this until these are reverse, like less than and equal to. So for that I need to take minimum of both, and for the end part I need to take maximum both, and then I would insert our new interval, right? I am making change in the new interval itself. That's why I'm comparing it with the intervals, right? So push new interval, and after that I need to insert all the last remaining intervals, and I will just insert. So that's the logic behind it, and it is in big of n, not in the log n, because I am not using sorting here. So that's it. Let's just move to our next question now. So the next question, which is non-overlapping intervals. Okay, minimum intervals removed to get non-overlapping. So the question is, I have given some intervals and I need to remove some intervals so that the result would be, so that there won't be any overlapping intervals in the result, right? So this is something I have shown on the number line, and 1 say 2 there is an interval, 1 2 3 4, 1 say 2 there is an interval, 2 say 3 there is an interval, 3 say 4 there is an interval, and from 1 to 3 there is an interval. So I need to remove the minimum, right? So if I just remove 1 say 3, so these intervals, they are not overlapping, so I need to remove one, which is 1 comma 3, and another part is 1 say 2 1 say 2 and 1 say 2. So there are three intervals in the range of 1 say 2, right? So if I remove any two of them, I would get a single interval, so remove two. So what if there is a case like 1 say 5, 2 say 3, 3 say 4, 4 say 5. So I'm just starting from the left side. So 1 comma 5, 2 comma 3, these both are overlapping, yes, we can see that, or I need to remove any one of them. So which one to remove, right? Now the question arises, okay, should I remove the 1 comma 5 or should I remove the 2 comma 3? So the answer would be to remove the bigger one, right? So the one which has the bigger end. And why is that? Let me just show you. Because there's a case, this is 2 comma 3, there would be a case key this won't be overlapping with many others on the right side, but this is 1 comma 5, there can be many intervals which will overlap with this one, right? So that's why I want to remove the bigger one. Like in this case 1 comma 5 and there is 3 comma 7, I need to remove one of them. So which one to remove, 1 comma 5 or 3 comma 7? There is many overlapping intervals, but I would remove 3 comma 7, right? Because for this one the end time is greater. And why is that? If I don't remove 3 comma 7, all these intervals will be part of this one, right? So I need to remove the bigger one. So bigger range will cover more elements, possibly to remove the bigger. So our goal is to remove the bigger range. You can, so I need to remove the bigger one, so I can sort it by according to first time and then remove the one with the bigger one. You can do this question by sorting them with the end time also, or comparing it with the distance length which I just mentioned. So there can be multiple logics to it, like 5 minus 4 and 3 minus 2. So whatever the distance of that would be minimum. So let's move to the coding section now. So for the coding section, first thing is, if the size is 0, return 0. So first we are sorting on the basis of start, as we have discussed, result equal to 0. We are taking a previous to compare it with the previous one, right? So intervals equal to 0, and I'm iterating from 1 to the size. So if previous of 1, that means if end of the previous is greater than this start. So end is greater than this start, this means these both intervals are overlapping, right? Makes sense. So result plus plus, that means these are overlapping and I need to remove this one. And after that, which one to remove? Now the question arises, and again remove one with the bigger end. Okay, so previous one would be changed to something which has minimum, so minimum of this end or the end interval has. So I just removed the one with the bigger end, else I'm not doing something with the start because I don't have to, else previous would becomes intervals I. That means they both are not overlapping, and I just push another one, so the previous would point to this. After that, I just present the result. So let's move to our next question now. So the next question is remove covered intervals. Okay, 1 comma 4, 3 comma 6, 2 comma 8. You have given some intervals and I have just shown them on a line. So 1 2 3 4 6 8. There is interval from 1 to 4, and there is interval from 2 to 8, and there is interval from 3 to 6. Now the question demand is removed covered intervals, the one which got completely covered, like this 3 comma 6, that got completely covered by 2 comma 8. 3 comma 6 is completely covered by 2 comma 8, so we need to remove this 3 comma 6. 1 comma 4, 2 comma 3, 1 comma 4, 2 comma 3 is completely covered by 1 comma 4, so remove 2 comma 3. So you need to remove the interval that is completely covered, right? Something like this, key A से D है, and there is an interval between them which is in the BC. So we need bigger interval with less start value and greater end value. Makes sense. Ki I want to get this parent, right, and I would remove this one. So for to getting this parent, I need something with has less start time or which has great end time, and both thing. We can sort array with the start value, right? Yes, we can start value. So for start we would get something which has a less start value. So there are the cases like B C C and A to D, right? Then we need parent interval first to compare it with the previous. Makes sense. Okay, we need parent interval, and this one completely got submerged in this one, right? So let's move to the coding part now. So the coding part is first sort them in the basis. So this is comparator, the lambda comparator, and its syntax is first you make this array size, and then auto will take care of whatever the data type you pass to it, x and y. So if the starting of both would be different, if starting is different, that means I can sort it easily by their start time. So something which has less start time can possibly be a parent, else we need to return whether x1 is greater than y1. So if that's not the case, we need something which has greater bigger time, right? So because for the parent it should have its end time should be greater, and the previous would be intervals of 0 1. The first end time count would be 1, and the count here shows the number of remaining intervals. We need the number of remaining intervals, right? So the first one is gonna stay. I just take count 1, and then I'm iterating on everyone. If previous is greater than equal to I1, that means and time of current is less than equal to the previous one, right? And time of one is less than equal to the previous one. That means it is completely submerged in the previous interval, right? Because start time तो उससे बड़ा होगा, अगर ending ही किसी चीज की पिछली वाले से कम हो रही है, तो that means it is completely submerged in the previous one, the parent one. So just continue. Otherwise, make the previous will point to this end and increase the count, because I need to take this interval as well. And after that, just return the count, right? So that's it. And let's move to our next question now. So the next question is interval list intersections. Okay, so two list of pairwise closed sorted intervals. We are given sorted intervals which are non-overlapping and pairwise. ठीक है, closed, that means both are including. Return their intersection. We need to return their intersection. Intersection क्या होता है? But intersection of 1 3 and 2 4 is 2 3. So 1 से 3 I have just shown on a number line. 1 से 3 and there is 2 to 4. So there is some part that is common to both, right? So this is what intersection is. So something similar to merge two sorted arrays. We can see that two sorted array, like two of the parts which are completely sorted, I need to utilize this information. So I is point to the first array, j would point to the second array. So there are some possible cases that I have just shown you. Ki there can be a case ki I is like something like this and j are two intervals, right? So and there can be this case. So first discuss any one of them, like this one. First I want to discuss this one. Okay, so first array, this is interval and this is j. They are not anything overlapping between them, right? So what we are gonna do, you are gonna increment I or j. Like now I need the next interval to compare now. So first, should I increase I or j? Yes, you should increase I, because j is already greater than the I, right? Start of something, start of this is already greater than the end of this. So I need to increment the I, increment the smaller end. That's what I just shown. And in this part, whether j and I, there isn't any overlapping area between them. So which one should I increment? Increment the j, because there is a possibility there can be a reason between here, right? So let's just take this case now. So this is I interval at I position and this interval at j position. There is something common between them. How to get that common? So first I need to take maximum of both start time, right, and minimum of both end time. Make completely sense. And then I would increment what? Increment one with the smaller end, because if I increment I, then I would I can't take this interval, right? So push max of starting time and minimum of end time and increase the one with the smaller end. And in this case, another case, key push maximum of both starting time and minimum of end time and increase the one with the smaller end, so which is j. So that's the thing. And big of m plus n for the time complexity key, we are comparing every I and j element. So that's it, and let's move to the coding section now. So this is the coding section. We have taken two variables I, j, I for first array, j for second array, created a vector of vector result because I need to push the common part. There is also a diagrammatic representation here key. This array and this array, there is something common between them. This is answer. This array, there is something common between them. So this line, like 4 to 4, common between them, this thing, right? So I need to figure that out. So while I is less than this and less than this, like we do in the merge sorted array concept, I need to get start of both and end of both. So start I comma 0, I comma 1 for end, j comma 0, j comma 1. If starting of something is greater than the ending of first, या this तीन केसेस लिए मैंने, राइट? सो दोबारा डिस्कस कर लेते हैं कि स्टार्टिंग ऑफ सेकंड इंटरवल. सो सेकंड इंटरवल स्टार्ट लेटर देन, सो इवन फर्स्ट पहले फिनिश होता है एंड देन S2 स्टार्ट होता है. सो आई नीड टू इंक्रीज द I प्लस प्लस बिकॉज इवन इज ऑलरेडी ग्रेटर and there could be a I plus plus case. We have the visual representation, right? Let me just show you again. As in this part we can already see S2 is greater than the E1, so I need to increase the I. So S2 is greater than E1, I increase the IN. In the other case where S1 is greater than E2, I would increase the J++. Else that means there is an area which is overlapping, so I would push the maximum of both the start and minimum of both the end. And if E1 is greater than E1 is less than E2, so I need to increase the one with the less end, so I++, else J++, and then I would return the result. So yeah guys, that's it, and I just covered all the intervals problem in this section. The meeting room and other type of problem, we can cover that in the later. So I just gave you an overview, a little idea about the logic behind the intervals problem. You can try them out and I want you guys to try them out. The assignment, the notes and everything is in the description link. You can join me with on Telegram and can share your views on the DSA grind sessions. So yeah, see you in the next one.